Good morning. Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Church in Plano, Texas. My name is Reverend Dr. Aija Duelm. I am the minister of this congregation, and I am so glad to see all of you here. What a wonderful music for this morning, helping us to finish decorating this place. It feels so fancy with the snowflakes around. Thank you so much for joining us here in person or online, watching us. We always have at least 10, if not more, people watching us every single Sunday. And welcome. Glad you're here. We strive to be a welcoming congregation. We welcome everyone who comes. We welcome people with diverse faith backgrounds. We also welcome people who do not claim a faith in a particular kind. We welcome people of various sexuality orientations, and we welcome people with various genders. We practice welcome in many ways. One of those ways how we practice welcome is we wear these name tags with the pronouns underneath. And last month, we moved those name tags for the members a few steps down the hall so that we could make the foyer a little bit more open and wider and more welcoming. And I want to thank every one of you for being willing to make this extra step to retrieve your name tag, to attach your pronoun to your name tag so that we can practice welcome. And it's also welcoming if you can ask for help for someone else to get that name tag for you, because for not all of us, making those extra steps is an easy thing to do. So it is part of welcoming to also ask. Why welcome? Why it is so important here. And I want to say it's part of who we are, how we are as human beings, how we are in this community. But it is also a very important part of Unitarian Universalism, part of our faith. Because welcome is about salvation. And salvation is a just thing to do. Unitarian Universalism is a saving faith. And if we can extend that welcome to someone, we might as well have offered a saving grace to another person who's walking through our doors. That is a just thing to do. That is part of justice. And today we will talk more about justice. We will dive deeper in it and talk about how we as a congregation would like to engage in justice in these current times. It has been a long time since you had an opportunity to discern what our priorities are. And our times are changing. We are changing. So this is another great opportunity for us to come together, engage in a democratic process to see which social justice issue is the closest to our hearts, which speaks to our common passion the most. And there might be more than one. There are so many issues. Today, each of you will have an opportunity to choose your 3 favorite topics. You all have received some instructions and snowflakes in an envelope, and there will be a lot more instructions coming later in the service, so don't worry, you'll get on board with what you will need to do. But as we engage this process, we will remain open to the possibilities that there might be new things coming our way that we are not anticipating in this moment, and maybe we will have to pivot and make some changes in our plan as we have it for now, or will have it for now. Wherever you are on your journey, I am glad you're here, and we welcome you. Our call to worship was written by Elizabeth Strong. Today, we celebrate a dream awakening. Today, we worship with renewed hope in our hearts. Today, we act on an audacity of hopes and dreams for the future. Today, we begin the hard work for justice, equity, and compassion in all human relations. For today is a day like no other, and it is ours to shape with vision and action. Let us worship together and celebrate a dream awakening. When I planned this service for today, I had no idea that we will have snowstorm this last week. It seems like universe decided to play according to our schedule and bring us snow. It kind of reminded us why winters here in Texas are more struggles than they are fun. We had about 2.5 inches of snow that fell in the DFW area. And while you all enjoyed beautiful snow, a lot of it came down slushy mixed with rain, which means it washes away all of the road pre-treatment and making it very difficult to drive on the roads after that. I live in Fort Worth, far away, and we had the least amount of snow. It was just under 2 inches by Friday morning that we got. And I was looking at rain and slushy stuff coming down while you were all enjoying beautiful white snow here in the Plano area. The northern parts of Texas saw between 7 to 11 inches of snow. Some states had even their biggest or worst snowfall in many years. We know that Oklahoma got 12 inches. Arkansas got 14 inches. Something that we rarely see and experience. I do hope that everyone made it safely through and stayed warm through the storm. I managed to have some fun. I went and made a snowman. I saw like 1/4 of that snowman still standing when I was leaving the house this morning. We did have a little small snow fight as well. Just all the snow fun that you can have in Texas. I grew up much more north, and we had winters, we had snow. So that is why snow seems so meaningful to me, and I really find it beautiful and lovely when it covers the ground, when it covers trees and roofs, and you can go out and hear it making that sound under your boots. It's just so lovely to experience. Well, today we're going to talk about snow a little bit more and snowflakes. I want to give you a few fun facts, maybe some of you who like those kind of fun things. Snow is made from snowflakes, right? And there are about 151,000 snowflakes in a pound of snow. If you ever want to count, that might be a place to start. At least 1 septillion ice crystals fall from the sky in the US alone. And if you wonder what septillion is, it's 1 with 24 zeros. Yes, that's the US alone. And another fun fact, the snowflakes are not white. They're actually translucent. They don't have a color. But because they are so tiny, The way the light works, it doesn't have a way to reflect the light, the color to us, consistency, so that it comes to us as white. So some people who are our scientists might explain to you better how that happens, how it tricks our eyes into thinking it's white. And every snowflake is unique, as we saw here also in our decorations. There have been attempts to find out identical snowflakes, and with some success. Kenneth Liebrecht, who is a snowflake scholar, can you imagine there's such a thing? You can be a scholar about snowflakes. He was a consultant on the movie Frozen. So here's your career, right? Opportunity. He grew some snowflakes in a laboratory. And one snowflake is made out of 100,000 water droplets in a process that takes about 30 to 45 minutes with a specific mixture of temperature, air movement, and moisture level. That's why it's so hard to get identical snowflakes. So he did it in a controlled laboratory where all of these measurements were set to be the same and identical. And what he got was almost identical. He called them twins, identical twins, because there were still some things that you could see that were different under the microscope especially. So how much does a snowflake weigh? 2 to 4 milligrams. It's as tiny, as small as they are. We saw that when they come in numbers, they can make a big difference. They can close our roads. They can create an avalanche. Because how the avalanche happens is that there's a snow already on the hillside, and when new snow comes, it adds enough to the weight or whatever that thing is that tricks the avalanche and it starts to slide off. What a wonderful metaphor for social justice. Because we can see how adding to one thing, to another, and to another eventually creates something, makes a difference. Hopefully not as dramatic as the closing roads or avalanche, but something more positive. But it still creates a big impact when it is called together. Last October, we met together for a conference, and we imagined our future together. In this meeting, we identified our 4 priorities. Social justice is one of those priorities that we named as important to us as the congregation, why we are here in Plano, why we get up in the morning on Sundays and show up in the church even when it's breezy and cold, and we would otherwise stay and just cozy up with some coffee or tea. As a congregation, as people, we've been working for justice for a long time. We have had many remarkable successes along the way. And sometimes we also have felt discouraged when we are not able to see the progress of the things that we've been working on for years and years and years and decades. However, when we do look back at things and the work that we've done, what we can see is that our lives, our time, our energy and resources, as tiny as they may seem, do add to a larger picture and make our work meaningful. It makes us proud for having been on the side of love in the nation's history. We are looking ahead to our 50th anniversary, and I would like to bring you some examples from our history from the last 50 years, because we have some most remarkable stories here, what you all have accomplished here. Some of these stories really are the most proudest moments of your life, of your work together. In 1991, you became a welcoming congregation. That is a term that lifts up our commitment to welcome, affirm, and fully include LGBTQ community in our midst. And we have since committed to keep living this welcome every year, every day throughout this year, years that will come. And we are doing also intentional work to keep renewing our certification as welcoming congregation every single year. We also have our Black Lives banner in the parking lot. You may have seen it when you drove here today. In 2014, you began the work of learning and exploring this commitment to Black lives as part of a justice issue. And I must say, it was not a brief and easy process. It took 4 years to get to a place where the congregation was ready to vote and put the banner out in the front of the parking lot there. You persevered, you kept working, and you did not give up when resistance seemed discouraging and overwhelming. And while you were working on this issue, there was another thing that happened in Plano. In December of 2014, Plano City Council passed an amendment to Equal Rights Ordinance to include non-discrimination policy with protections for lesbians, gays, bisexual, and transgender residents. There were already 9 Texas cities with populations over 100,000 members, residents, that had passed these protections by that time. And then there was a lead group that was challenging this recently adopted ordinance. They gathered signature to force a vote referendum on throwing out the ordinance. And it seems like for you it was no-brainer at all. You got to work. You organized a big press conference filling this sanctuary with reporters to the point that it was standing room only. Can you imagine that? Standing room only. You also sent 100 people to the next Plano Council meeting to speak in favor of this ordinance. And you know what? The ordinance stood. Yes. These are things that make us proud for being a community church, for being people of faith, people who care about justice, people whose lives matter, and we make impact in other people's lives as well. When we all come together and work on an issue, we can have as significant an impact as snowflakes when they assemble in numbers. And even when we do not get to see the result that we are hoping for, our work adds that layer. And when the next snow will come, the next snowflakes will come, the avalanche is ready to go. That's work that matters. Today we're facing a new reality. Times have changed. Political regimes are changing, bringing lots of unknown our way. And we have changed too. It has been more than 10 years when you had an opportunity to come together and discern your social justice priorities. 2014 was the last time that you had a meeting to decide what's important to this community. There were so many things that have happened during these years, and I would like to hear what is on your hearts today. What is your passion? What is our common passion? Which social justice issue, and you see quite a few there on that table, which one is that the biggest one that will motivate us to get out of our cozy places, attend a learning session or an activity to make an effort to change the circumstances? Your social justice team would like to hear your input so that we all can plan things together and we can plan things that matter to all of us. The team has prepared one way for us to make our voices heard, and it's a ritual that will allow you to cast your voice for your top 3 social justice issues. But this is just the beginning of the conversation. We do know that the new administration has made some threats already to make some significant efforts, from mass deportations to further restrictions of LGBTQ rights to undoing democracy. And the reality is we do not know how these things will unfold and what else might come as a surprise to us. So our conversation will have to continue so that we are able to respond to what is happening around us, what is touching our hearts. And if you're not here today, I know some of you are watching, and you're not able to cast your vote today, but you would like to participate, and that applies also if you are here, if you would like to participate more and deeper into these works, please join our social justice team. They meet monthly on Tuesday and plan their actions and organizing. You're welcome. This is online, so this doesn't even require for you to come to church. We are called to answer the call of love, and that is the work of justice. Even when we feel as small and tiny as a snowflake, our ability and decision to contribute to the larger work matters. It matters to the people whose lives are being changed, and it matters to us, to our work together, our mission, to have used our precious lives on something that is worth fighting for. So as we follow our call, one day at a time, one step at a time, may we always remember that we matter, that community matters. May it be so. May it always be so. Erik Walker Wikstrom says, "One snowflake is a marvel, a miracle. 4 snowflakes, 5, and the kids begin to run around the yard. 100, and the cars start slowing down. 1,000, 2,000. You can see where this is going. We are strengthened in coming together joining with others, blending our efforts with those of the Unitarian Universalist congregation in the next town or the next state. Together, we are more than we could ever be alone. One congregation, one Unitarian Universalist is a miracle, a marvel. As an association, we can help to create a wonderland, a world blanketed with love and justice, understanding, and hope. So we go, making the world a wonderland. Amen.